Back to life, back to reality, back to work. What's going on, guys? Cameron here with Canadian Gamer, and that's right. A lot of us are back to work, at least up here in Ontario, Canada. Government's slowly lifting this ban of COVID-19, and a lot of us are being reintegrated back into society. So, it's good to see. Obviously, reopening the economy is good for everyone. It is hard to get back into the swing of things. Myself, I'm starting a new job that I actually landed just before COVID-19 sort of blew up. So when you start a new job, obviously, it can be a little bit stressful, but exciting at the same time. So it may be a topic for another day, but I'm starting a new career path that I've been working on for a while. It took a long time to get here, but it's finally paid off. So been busy all day today. I didn't think I was going to put out a video, but I said, what the hell? This has been fresh on my mind. Sort of piggybacking off the last video I did, what I want to talk about today, excuse me while I take a sip of my wine. I'll talk about the NES versus the original Game Boy / Game Boy Color. And the reason why that is because you could make an argument, at least I think you could, the Game Boy is arguably the better console over the NES. I've been playing a lot of SpongeBob SquarePants. Wario 3. Fantastic game. And again, this is a prime example of a game we never got on the original NES. And it's an amazing game. Hands down, it's better than 95% of the NES library, in my opinion. So you see games like this, the graphics are incredible, especially the color in this game. A better color palette than you'd get on the NES. Another one here. Link's Awakening. Now, this is the DX cartridge. This is my original cartridge from the mid-90s. The only cart that I really hung on to. But again, you could argue this is better. This game is better than any game on the NES, period. With the exception of maybe Super Mario Brothers 3. I know that's a loaded statement, but this is better than both Zeldas on the NES. Just a fantastic adventure. For them to cram all this goodness into an 8-bit cart, and this is almost as good as Link to the Past. It's phenomenal. Metroid 2, you could almost argue it's better than the original Metroid. Fantastic game. Kirby, this is a Japanese cart. I just want to show you a few games that I have here. Classic, 6 golden coins. This one's seen better days. Fantastic Mario game. Underrated, underappreciated series, the Donkey Kong Land series. These games are phenomenal. Again, we didn't get them on the NES as far as I'm aware. And I've also got Final Fantasy Legends 3 to show off. Incredible RPG, more of an action-adventure game. But I just want to showcase these games because, again, you could arguably suggest these games that I'm showing you here are better than 95% of the catalog on the NES, at least in my opinion. The NES, while it's a classic console, I find it's hard to go back to it. Even my NES Classic, I got it loaded up with some of my favorite ROMs. And I don't find myself going back too often to play those games. Some of those games are tougher than a cheap steak, but, I guess that's what gives it its charm. But like I said, the Game Boy, having played it the last couple of years in depth, I think the Game Boy, it's the better console. The graphics and some of the games are much better than what we had on the NES. Like, amazing, fantastic. The library is actually really deep on the Game Boy. Don't kid yourself. It's funny, like I said, some of the very early Game Boy games from like 89, 90, 91, 92, they don't look as good as the NES games. But some of the later Game Boy games, especially like I said, the color, the DX variants, in my opinion, better than the NES. So I thought it was a good discussion to have. Again, over the years, I've started to collect more and more of the Game Boy games. And again, I don't ever see myself getting back into collecting for the NES, but I'm going to continue to collect for the Game Boy, and again, with the backwards compatibility on the GBA. Not to mention Game Boy games are relatively cheap, even in this day and age. You can still find actually a lot of decent repros on eBay as well if you want to go down that road. If you want to go down that road, knock yourself out. But yeah, the Game Boy, more so than the Game Boy Advance, has a very rich, a very deep library of games. And I just wanted to sort of get your guys' take on it. I know it's a polarizing subject. Some of you guys are probably going to nail me to the cross. A lot of you guys love the NES. But which one do you prefer, the NES or the original Game Boy Color? Which console do you think is the better console? Leave it in the comments below. As always, guys, thanks so much for watching. Stay safe and have a great night. Take care.